What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the most down bad, or the greatest podcast on turf. I'm Anthony.
I'm Ryan.
And today we are back with yet another mock draft. This is our first full mock draft with post-Carolina trading up to 1 and Chicago moving down to 9. We knew someone was going to move up. It was just a matter of time, and I'm kind of glad it happened this early in the draft process just so we can kind of get a better idea, I guess, if that makes sense. But yeah, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Be on the lookout for our, I guess tomorrow will be, or I don't know when we'll upload or I don't know when we're uploading it yet, but we're dropping a free agency reaction grade video early on.
And some trades.
Some trade reactions, some trade talks. We're dropping that either yesterday or tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. As always, check out our sponsor, Little Italy Pizza Shop, my family's business in Townsend. If you show proof you're subscribed, you're eligible for a 10% discount. And if I'm there, I'm going to buy your meal. So show us some love. Number 1, I guess I'll take it again since you've had the bad picks the last 2 times.
Fair.
Carolina at 1 moved up. In retrospect, I really don't think it was that big of a fleece.
No.
In Chicago's probably really initially, yeah, it's like holy shit, 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and DJ Moore. But at the same time, Carolina still has their second round pick this year. They have their second round pick next year. It was a 2025 second round pick they gave up. So I mean, Carolina didn't. The biggest thing that they gave up to me was DJ Moore.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, Matt Stafford was worth 3 first round picks. It's going to be a fleece if it don't work out, obviously, and that's not saying anything at all. But if it does work out, the Carolina Panthers obviously win the trade because they have the best quarterback in this draft class. And yeah. I mean, we really don't know yet, and I don't blame Carolina for doing it at all. I think both sides could have easily won this deal.
Yeah, no, and this is kind of our first time really talking about it, and we knew it was probably going to be a 3 first round pick deal. From what I read, Carolina wanted to bring in, or Carolina wanted a first round pick with Chicago with them. They wanted a first round pick in return for throwing in DJ Moore, but Chicago was set on what they wanted and didn't budge, and Carolina was just like, all right, fine. Which I guess you have to do. Quarterback is the most important position. It is a premium position. Quarterbacks are a very hot commodity. So, I mean, Carolina did what they had to do, and they're still not out of the realm of trading back, which realistically I don't really see fit why. Because, I mean, unless you trade up with, like, move back one spot with, like, a Houston or, like, an Indianapolis. But I can't see them trading out of the top 4.
It's not happening.
Just because they traded up for a reason to get their quarterback. And with that being said, this has kind of been a recurring theme in our mock drafts. I'm going with my QB1 personally. I think CJ Stroud is QB1, and I really don't think it's close. I think he's going to translate very well. He's got Frank Reich as the coach, who's notorious for developing quarterbacks. Yes, the playmaking room's looking a little thin. The offensive line really isn't that bad on paper. If you look at it, I mean, their biggest problem is Laviska Shenault and Terrace Marshall is their receiver room right now, but I think they'll address that in a free agency or something like that. So I'm going with CJ Stroud, my QB1 here to start off this mock draft.
I would have went somewhere else with that, but I'm going to do it right here because why the hell not? I'm taking Anthony Richardson here. Not really saying that much. I think Anthony Richardson is my quarterback 1. He might not be the best quarterback ready, for week 1, but I think he has the highest upside in this class. I think DeMeco Ryans is trying to make a splash in Houston, and I think he will do this by taking Anthony Richardson here. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely can see it happening. I mean, I really think that there's a good shot that 4 quarterbacks go in the top 4. I really think Arizona's going to trade back. It's just a matter of how far back are they going to be wanting to trade. And, I mean, you got teams, the Colts at 4 may look to jump up the spot. Tennessee, depending on what they do and how they're feeling about the squad. I think the Raiders are kind of out, bringing in Jimmy G and paying him a decent amount. Who else am I missing? Anyone else? Because I can't scroll on that.
Atlanta, potentially.
Atlanta, maybe.
Atlanta's making some moves for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't think that it's weird now just because with the Raiders being out of the trade-up conversation, I think that the value for this 3 pick, I mean, not the value, but I think that...
I could see Seattle coming to get it.
Really?
It's not that far of a jump. Arizona, it won't take that much because Arizona's picking from 3 to 5.
Yeah.
So it's not that far of a jump. And I mean, I know they just signed Geno Smith, but I don't think they're out of the quarterback. If that makes sense.
Yeah, but I think them bringing back Geno is them kind of saying, all right, we feel as though we can make a splash and compete now. You have a top 5 pick that's not even yours. So, I mean, it's kind of tough, but I just don't see a trade fitting right now, really. I don't know what... I mean, Tennessee did inquire about the number 1 pick. Now, I'm not sure how advanced those talks were, but I know they were one of the teams that was calling for the number 1 pick.
They said Derrick Henry. And they said, nope.
So, with that being said, I'm going to stick it out here. I'm not going to do a trade. Cardinals here at 3. They added Kaiser White to the defense earlier today as we're recording this. I think they're going to keep trying to add on the trenches on defense. They don't have Kyler, so I'm going to go ahead and grab probably the best defensive player in the draft in Will Anderson Jr.
Next up, I feel like this is kind of easy. I don't think this is going to happen because I feel like the Colts are going to get screwed. I don't see them getting one of these 3 quarterbacks, but right now in this situation they did, and they are getting some people's quarterback 1 and Bryce Young. I'm not sure how well Bryce Young is going to translate to the NFL, but if I'm the Colts here at 4, I think I'd do it.
I realistically see a world where if this does happen, they go Will Levis because their GM is a big traits guy.
That's fair.
And I mean, I don't know. It's weird for the Colts just because I feel like that they would want a Will Levis or Ant Rich just because, again, I think his name's Chris Ballard. He's a big trait guy, and they still do have Matt Ryan on the books for $18 million this year. So, I mean, but yeah, I mean, the Colts, if they get that, I think that it could be lucky for them. But if, just say, Anthony Richardson is their quarterback 1, which I think is a possibility, or a CJ Stroud, I think that they're going to have to move up.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. I think they're I mean, probably won't trade with Houston, division rivalry, but if the Colts QB1, I don't know, it's hard for them, but they went with Bryce Young. Seattle 5. This is kind of an easy pick for me. I mean, he's here. I think you got to go with him. I'm taking Jalen Carter for arguably the best defensive player in the class. Yeah, there is some concerns. Sounds like he just got some misdemeanor charges for like reckless driving or whatever. It was stupid, yes, but I don't think that I don't know enough about it to talk about it, but Jalen Carter, he's probably the best player on the board right now, best defensive player on the board, and gives them a very big position in need. So I went with Jalen Carter to Seattle at 5.
Next up, I got the Lions at 6. Not really sure how I feel about this one. They did just bring in Cam Sutton. Not sure, why. Or he's okay. I'm not sure he's the long-term solution for their problem, but I think he's okay, and I think that they might be rocking with it. It kind of deters me from corner here a little bit, just because they did that. I mean, that's a lot of capital they got in there. You bring in Cam Sutton, you already drafted Jeff Okudah. It's leading me to Tyree Wilson.
I like that pick.
To put on the other side of Aiden Hutchinson. They have pick 6, so these players are really good at football. And to get an edge rusher here who is some people's edge 1, I think is good for them. And it's more of a cornerstone piece than a corner.
Yeah, and so Tyree Wilson, I think that's a really good pick there for them. Number 7, the Raiders. Just signed Jimmy Garoppolo today. Now, this is tough. Because if it does fall like this, I think Tennessee is jumping for joy on the phone with Vegas trying to make a trade. But I feel like the Raiders are in a situation to, try and compete now. I guess that's what them bringing in Jimmy G says. They did just trade Darren Waller. Yeah. But I don't know. But I'm doing it. I think all 4 quarterbacks go in the top 4. That's just me, but this is a predictive mock draft, and it just didn't work out that way this time. But I really think that I think the top 4 picks are all going to be quarterbacks one way or another. But with the board falling like this, I mean, I think it's kind of a no-brainer that I think Tennessee would really jump up. I mean, the price is it's only 4 picks, so it's not going to be as steep in trying to move up to in the top 5 or the top 3. So, I mean, what do you think gets this done? A first-round pick swap?
Just do a first and a second and see if it works.
Okay. It's not enough.
It's too much for...
And like a
Yeah, just give him a first and a fourth. It worked for me.
Did it?
Yeah.
I just pressed a bunch of random picks, but yeah, it doesn't have. It's only one round line. And the Titans move up and get their QB1 quarterback of the future, the best quarterback on the roster. If this happens, and Will Levis, because Ryan Tannehill, as I've been saying all these years, is not the guy.
He was just down bad last year.
No, he sucks.
Well, Levis isn't going to have a chance this year because who the hell is he throwing to? They don't even have Robert Woods anymore.
Boy, I can't wait to talk about that. I can't wait to talk about the Texans receiver room, man. I can't wait.
Okay, the Falcons are up at 8. A little interesting. I'm not really quite sure what they're doing. What they're doing is a little interesting. Bringing in Jesse Bates. I mean,
he's been linked to them since last offseason, though.
Bringing in Jesse Bates. Trade him for Jonnu Smith. Dave Taylor Heineke?
They just signed Taylor Heineke.
Not quite sure what Atlanta's doing.
I think that they see the division is still wide open, so they're like, fuck Caleb Williams. We got Taylor Heineke. I think that's what's happening in Atlanta. I don't know.
I mean,
Arthur Smith, he's not really a tank guy.
He ain't doing it here either.
Okay, so quarterback controversy brewing.
Probably the best player available is one of these corners. They have AJ Terrell, who I like, but on the other side they have Casey Hayward, who is not getting younger.
And is not really a boundary corner.
And obviously they want to build their secondary, bringing in Jesse Bates, so let's bring in Christian Gonzalez there. A lot of people's cornerback one.
Mine included. All-pro corner. See Christian Gonzalez.
If he's really an all-pro corner, this is an absolute steal at 8. I'm not saying he will or will not be, but I think he's worth the pick.
Then that defense gets a whole lot better. You have it's probably a top. If Christian Gonzalez pans out, you have a top cornerback duo with Jesse Bates, who's one of the best safeties in the NFL.
Grady Jarrett, who might get a little bit more pressure with.
Yeah. Chicago at 9. This is a no-brainer for me. Paris Johnson Jr., best tackle, former Justin Fields teammate. They have a whole lot of picks now. They got DJ Moore. They went out there. They made some moves in free agency, brought in TJ Edwards. They missed out on Mike McGlinchey, unfortunately, who they were linked to. But they're getting Paris Johnson, Justin Fields' former teammate, and probably the best offensive tackle in this draft class.
Next up, I got Philly at pick 10. And this one's a little tough, too. Bradbury, they just signed back, 10, 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Darius Slay's requested for a trade.
Well, he was granted permission to seek a trade.
That's right. My bad. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is a free agent. He posted somewhat of a goodbye video, it looked like.
But you know who else did? Miles Sanders did.
Miles Sanders is gone.
But they did bring in Rashad Penny. I don't know how much that steers you away from our boy, but
Rashad Penny hasn't finished the season. And
I said the same thing to my brother, but my brother thinks it's different because he's not going to have the whole workload now because they got Kenny G.
Rashad Penny hasn't had a whole workload in his career.
I understand, and that's what I tried to tell my brother, but he's convinced Kenneth Gainwell and Rashad Penny are a good 1-2 punch.
Because Chris Carson has been there Rashad Penny's whole entire life.
Yeah.
So, two guys. It's either between one of these corners, like a Joey Porter or Witherspoon, or it's between Bijan Robinson. And for the hell of it, for the fun of it, I'm going with Bijan here.
I love it.
I mean, Bijan is an option offense with Jalen Hurts and Bijan.
Yeah.
Kind of gross.
With A.J. Brown and Devontae. And they just got bought Jason Kelsey back.
And I want to see the Eagles take a bad pick, so taking a running back here is perfect for my standards.
I mean, if the Eagles didn't just bring back Jason Kelsey for $14.5 million for a one-year deal, I would have thought Peter Skoronski here. But at that point, it's just how high do you value probably Peter Skoronski wouldn't play tackle. How high do you value a Peter Skoronski who probably would play right guard, left guard, wherever Sam Alu played?
1 year deal and bringing back Bradbury kind of screams we're taking our shot again.
Yeah.
And then we might have to do a temporary rebuild after this.
Yeah, I mean, because Jalen's due for an extension.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not due, but he's eligible.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's tough. But Vegas at 11, they lucked out. They bought in some other picks with Titans moving up and still landed one of the top players on their board in Devin Witherspoon. A lot of people are saying he's CB1. He's got some swag to him. He's got some attitude. He plays with that I'm the shit mentality. So, I mean, I really like that pick there and the Raiders being able to add a second or third, whatever it may be, in return, or a third and fourth, whatever it might be. And Devin Witherspoon, I think that's really good for them, and I think that helps the Raiders a lot with the situation that they're in.
Next up, the Houston Texans are at 12, and they're kind of an interesting team here a little bit.
Can you bring up receiver so I can talk about it?
Yeah. However, they are doing somewhat of good things. Bringing in Shaq Mason for a fifth, sixth, seventh round pick. I kind of liked it.
I love, dude. Their O-line is like sneaky good.
Yeah.
And I mean, if they don't move from Laramie Tunsil, you got Tunsil, Titus Howard, Shaq Mason, and Kenyon Green.
Yeah. They brought in Jimmy Ward, who's D'Amico Ryan's guy.
Jinx.
The receiving room is Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods, and Nico Collins.
Listen.
They have Noah Brown. We lost Noah Brown? Oh, no.
Listen.
Holy mid.
I think that receiver here might not be the worst thing. Because think about it like this. Brandon Cooks, we don't know if he's going to stay or not.
Correct.
You got Robert Woods, it's like somebody slapping a Band-Aid on a broken bone. Then
I'm not even sure if I'd be that.
You have former second-round pick John Mechie, who should be coming back this year, who was one of my favorite receivers in last year's draft class out of Alabama.
Yeah.
So if you can add say, Quentin Johnson here, I'm not saying it's a great receiver room, but I'm saying I like it a lot. Just throwing it out there.
I'm definitely not adding Quentin Johnson.
I wouldn't blame you. That was just throwing it out.
Yeah, I mean, their defense leaves a lot to be desired. And D'Amico Ryan's being a defensive guy kind of steers me to defense. They've already done a good chunk in trying to help out their quarterback. I know Robert Woods ain't shit, but in their eyes, they got him a decent receiver.
Yeah.
In their eyes, they got him Shaq Mason. You know, so in their eyes, they might be doing okay. They brought in Noah Brown.
Man, their defense is so bad.
Their defense is really bad.
I mean, secondary, okay. You got Stingley, Desmond King, Jimmy Ward, Jalen Petrie.
Their secondary is mid, and it's just enough to not get destroyed every game.
I wouldn't say mid. Stingley's good. Jimmy Ward's going to be good under D'Amico. Desmond King was good last year. Jalen Petrie was a stud last year.
Steven Nelson is the outside corner.
Yeah, it's a problem. But this is... the defensive line is so bad.
Miles Murphy?
I mean, Lucas Van Ness, a lot of people like. I still don't see it personally. I understand the potential is there. I just don't see it personally. I mean, if this is me here, I would love Brian Branch, but they did just bring in Jimmy Ward, and they do have Jalen Petrie.
Mm-hmm.
I think, honestly, if this is the case, I think it's just whoever you like more between... I mean, maybe even a Nolan Smith. Give D'Amico Ryans a guy like Nolan Smith and just see what he can turn him into. I think that's a little rich for Nolan Smith at 12.
They're going with the Jackson Smith and Jigba. We're sending it. We're helping out.
Listen, I love it. I mean, I'm not complaining. I love it. Jets at 13. I saw a tweet and it was like Aaron Rodgers' status currently running the Jets, owner of the Bears, and quarterback of the Packers.
I saw the new logo for the Jets, and it was the Jets and it wrote Packers in the little thing.
So Aaron Rodgers is making moves. He said he wants them to try and grab Randall Cobb, Allen Lazard, and or Odell Beckham Jr.
Dude's like Adam Sandler.
They signed
boys, yeah.
They signed Allen Lazard, $11 million a year. I guess that's market value. Jacoby Myers just got 11 from the Raiders over 3, and he's probably better than Allen Lazard.
They're probably about even.
Yeah. Jets. Man. I mean, this Jets safety room, I feel like leaves a lot to be desired. Could go Brian Branch. Bless you.
Thank you.
But I think with bringing in a guy like Aaron Rodgers, with how good your defense was last year, I think this has to be offensive line. Normally, I'd say Peter Skoronski, but they did just grab their versatile lineman in Elijah Vera Tucker. And I think that you really need that surefire tackle, whether it is a right or left tackle. So I'm going to go ahead here and grab Broderick Jones, one of the best offensive linemen in the class. I feel like the top 2-3 tackles are kind of all even. So, I mean, Jets getting Broderick Jones, offensive tackle, can play right or left. You really don't know what you got with Mekhi Becton. Hasn't played a full season going into this will be his 4th season. I did see he lost a shit ton of weight. Guy looks really good. Now it's just a matter of if he can stay healthy. But you have Broderick Jones, who's kind of that insurance policy for your future quarterback, and Aaron Rodgers. But who knows if they will have this pick. But Just saying, the Jets need offensive tackle help, so
Next up, the Patriots at 14.
this is so easy.
I don't think so.
I know.
So why don't you enlighten me? Because I want to pick a receiver here, but I think they're all ass.
Yeah,
And Zay Flowers, I feel like is a stretch here.
that would be the Patriots thing to do, and I wouldn't be mad. I've envisioned it in my head. I see us sitting in the pizza shop and the Patriots draft Zay Flowers at 14, and I don't know how to feel.
I mean, you just signed back the corner, Jonathan Jones. Your corner room is still kind of ass, if we're being honest.
I can really see this being a trade down spot. A classic vintage Bill Belichick trading back.
I could see that too, but who is moving up for?
I mean, Pittsburgh could be moving up for a corner. I mean, Mike Tomlin has done extensive work on the tackles this year.
And you got a corner and a tackle still on the board that he might be able to fall to him.
I mean, Tampa Bay maybe. I mean, them in New England, they did the Shaq Mason trade. I mean, I wish it would let me scroll.
Don't let you scroll.
It doesn't. It's weird. I mean, I can even see Minnesota maybe moving up for a corner. I don't think receivers is big a need for New England just because we're probably going to get Adam Thielen.
I know you didn't even want to say that. I mean, you guys need a corner too, so
Yeah, I mean...
Because Jalen Mills is currently listed as your outside corner.
Thanks.
So I feel like Joey Porter here is probably the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Future Hall of Famer Joey Porter Jr. in New England. Green Bay, just kind of still just Green Bay.
Well, you can kind of pick them without Aaron Rodgers now.
Yeah.
At least you know. I'm not sure if that helps.
It's the top two guys on the board here. It's Peter Skoronski or Miles Murphy. I mean, Miles Murphy fits that big defensive end that the Packers love to draft with Rashawn Gary and Preston Smith, kind of similar to those guys.
Didn't they just took Devontae Wyatt, if you care?
Yeah, he's more of a D tackle, I feel like, though.
No,
I understand. I appreciate you letting me know. I forgot about that, but I just think that he's more of a D tackle. So I'm going to go ahead here and just grab Peter Skoronski. They really need help on the O-line. Elton Jenkins and David Bakhtiari are very injury prone, and you get a Peter Skoronski who can play, who similar to Elton Jenkins can play. Matt LaFleur loves to move Elton Jenkins all over the place due to other injuries and stuff. So getting another piece like that, I think could help Green Bay in the long run, and Jordan Love with the O-line.
Next up, Washington. Quarterbacks are currently Sam Howell and Jake Fromm.
I mean, they kind of addressed O-line. Didn't they just bring in the guy from Kansas City? What's his name? Andrew Wiley?
They brought in Andrew Wiley. Didn't they bring in Charles Leno? Wasn't he a Cardinal?
No. They have Andrew Norwell. Sam Cosmi is playing backup. Sam Cosmi got moved to guard. Chris Paul?
Nice. They'll never win a ring with that guy.
Literally.
The D-line is still solid with Chase Young. They've extended Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, Montez Sweat. They need secondary help.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's there. Brian Branch?
I mean, I feel
They
like
have Cam Curl.
Cam Curl's a stud, and they
I wouldn't say that stud is bold.
Cam Curl's good. Derek Forrest was good for him last year.
They need a corner.
Yeah, they do really bad. And you could grab a Cam Smith, a guy who's kind of just falling back because Christian Gonzalez and Joey Porter and Devin Witherspoon are kind of shooting up there. Emmanuel Forbes weighed in really small. I think he only weighed in at 167.
Could roll it down with Deontay Banks, athletic guy.
Extremely athletic local guy. Yeah,
Yep.
I mean,
Athletic
Pittsburgh
guys
at
going
18 got gunned down.
Yep.
They
All
did.
the guys that we thought that they wanted, we took them right in front of them.
They did just bring in Pat Pete. Did they make any other? Didn't they make an O-line move, or am I tripping? No.
No.
I mean, the O-lineman here, Anton Harrison tested very well. DeJuan Jones and Darnell Wright had a great Senior Bowl and also tested really well. Pittsburgh, they did a lot of work at on offensive tackles during the combine, and during the Senior Bowl and stuff. I mean, Mike Tomlin was all over the O tackles, and he's been this whole entire kind of off-season process. And we saw them last year. They were heavily invested in the quarterback market, and they went and got their guy in Kenny Pickett. I mean, D-line maybe. Miles Murphy would be fun. Probably not receiver. Brian Branch, they probably don't need.
I'm pressing Anton.
I'm going Darnell right here. Yeah, some might say it's a little rich, but the Steelers are going to go out there and get their guy in Darnell Wright. He's big, physical. He fits that mold of a Pittsburgh Steeler offensive lineman, and I think that Kenny Pickett and Najee are very, very happy with that draft pick.
Next up, the Lions are back on the clock. They took Tyree Wilson earlier with their 6th pick. They are back on the board to try to help out Jared Goff and win the Super Bowl.
This is such an easy pick.
DeAndre Swift is listed as a backup.
Over Jamal. I mean, Jamal Williams is a free agent, but I think that they are bringing
It's
him
still
back.
interesting. That
Yeah.
you said that. You said it's easy?
Yes. You're looking at him. No.
No?
No. Down. Yup. That's the fun. Dan Campbell. Bringing 2 of the best defensive players in this entire draft class, and he's going to have fun
You love this guy.
with Brian Branch and
You
Tyler
love this guy
Wilson.
way too much.
Dude, Brian Branch is going to be a problem.
I'll embrace it with you. We'll go Brian Branch.
God, I love it. Dan Campbell had another versatile defensive piece to that secondary that needs help. I mean, who are their safeties? Tracy Walker?
And Deshaun Elliott.
I mean, Deshaun Elliott's okay. I like him. Tracy Walker, they're okay in Madden. They're good. I mean, but the Brian Branch is my guy. Tampa at 19. Baker Mayfield's only a matter of time before he takes over the reins. And I'm
Get
all
him a
for
receiver.
it. I mean, fuck. This has to be O-line. They just lost Shaq Mason. They cut Donovan Smith. I mean, who's left on their O-line? Ryan Jensen, Tristan Wirfs. You have 3 big holes offensive line. Josh Wells was inconsistent. I mean, your starting right tackle is your backup left guard. This has to be offensive tackle. I'm going Anton Harrison here.
Their
Boomer
starting
Sooner.
quarterback is Blaine Gabbert.
Boomer Sooner. Bucks get a piece to play left tackle across from Tristan Wirfs, and that is a pretty solid offensive tackle core.
Next up, Seattle's back with Jalen Carter. And now they're back with pick 20. Seattle, I feel like I don't think they're ready to win now, but they think they're ready to win now.
This pick is literally, this is a receiver. Like
I know, but I don't like him.
I don't either.
Is it a receiver?
I think so.
Would Pete Carroll do this?
Pete Carroll don't give a shit, in case you haven't been watching how they draft the past few years.
Are we rocking with Mike Jackson?
Who?
Their second corner? Mike
They got
Jackson.
Kobe Bryant as their second corner.
No, it's Mike Jackson. Trey Brown, Oklahoma legend, but damn. I feel like they could use a linebacker because that dude's slow.
Yeah.
There's not really much here, though. Lockett is coming off of the injuries. So that's something.
He always is.
No, he's not. You're just spreading false information about the guy.
No, I mean, this is the only defensive player I can probably see here is Nolan Smith. Just because I think that, like, Pete Carroll would have fun. I could see it Nolan Smith
I think
here.
that's more likely. That's what I'm doing.
Nolan
I
Smith.
can't take a third receiver in
No.
the pick 20.
Chargers. This pick's Bijan if he's here, but he's not.
Tell you who it ain't. Austin Eckler.
Yeah. I'm going easy Zay Flowers. They need speed. They need versatility in the receiver room. They need a guy to take the top off the defense and for Justin Herbert to air it out 40 yards downfield too. That's a no-brainer. Easiest pick of the mock draft for me.
I probably was considering him here.
I don't blame you. No, it's fine because they just cut Calais Campbell, so this is Miles Murphy's replacement.
The fact that you're right about that is just so bad.
I know. I'm like, it's as soon
The
as
fact that I'm literally going to do it is just so bad.
because Miles Murphy is Calais Campbell.
Yep.
Is that the pick?
Yep.
Because John Harbaugh is another easy pick here.
Adam Thielen replacement?
As much as I want to go with Cam Smith here, as much as I really, really do, I just... What moves have they made? Any moves? I just feel like there's a lot, but there hasn't been a lot. My mind has
I'm
been...
pretty sure their whole entire secondary is gone.
I mean, as you know, my mind has been everywhere today.
Their whole entire secondary is gone. I mean, look at the secondary.
Chandon Sullivan, Zadarius Smith requested a trade. Cam Bynum, Jesus, they cut Cam Dancer. Fuck.
Their whole entire secondary.
This is Cam
gone.
Smith just based off of the fact that they need a corner. I think realistically here, you're probably looking at a Jordan Addison or a Jalen Hyatt. But for this mock draft, if I'm the Vikings, if I'm running this organization, it's Cam Smith. Big corner, you need corner so bad.
I mean, in theory, you can put Cam Smith and Andrew Booth, and you might be okay.
Yeah.
But probably not.
No.
Jacksonville's up at 25.
Huh.
I feel like they need a line help.
They do, because they just lost Jawan Taylor, who Kansas City paid stupid bread to.
Is it stupid, though?
I mean, Jawan Taylor was good last year, but...
Money's going to keep doing that. So
Yeah.
it just means Orlando Brown's basically gone. He's a Cowboy.
He's a Jag.
He's a Cowboy. I feel like they need Ben Barch. I'm not sure if that guy is going to stay on this starting line.
I mean, Walker Little sucks. So does Ben Barch. I mean, Walker Little cost...
DeLon Jones is a bad dude who is very athletic.
Yes.
It is the end of the first, so I can get away with it.
Yes.
It's the last tackle here. It's a big gap. We're doing it.
Love it. Giants just traded for Darren Waller. Easy pick here.
That receiver.
Jordan Addison. Yeah, he ran a little bit slower than they thought.
He's slow. It's Kenny Galladay.
But it's fine because they re-signed Daniel Jones. Saquon's back on the franchise tag. You're getting your healthy O-line back. It sounds like they're going to try and bring in some free agents for the defense to help out some veterans with the young guys. So they need receivers so bad. So they're grabbing Jordan Addison here, who is just going to run straight, hope he can beat a corner or a safety, and tell Daniel Jones to try and get it there.
Next up, we got my Cowboys.
This pick changes a little bit.
Who made a move today. They
Gilmore.
brought in Gilmore.
Top 5 corner.
They extended Donovan Wilson. The secondary is looking very solid.
Yeah.
They could use another outside corner, but that's not going to be this pick right here. You know, because the safety room, I think, is solid. I love our safeties.
Oh, yeah. I'm a big Malik Hooker guy.
And our linebacker core, I think, is solid with Damone Clark and Jabril Cox.
Dude, I love Jabril Cox coming back to college.
That line is a little bit... Tyler Smith starting twice is a little bit sketchy. Tyler Smith started twice and Tyron Smith started. That's a lot of T. Smiths. There's a lot of ties on this team, and I'm really getting a little sketchy about it.
Yeah, Tyler Smith, Tyler Biadasz, Tyron Smith,
And T.Y.
Hilton.
Huh.
The Dallas thing to do, though, they're getting D-Hop, so this is just...
We're getting D-Hop. No, that's our second round pick. We still have a first round pick.
That's true.
And I'm really looking at Osiris here.
That's what I was thinking.
That's big.
Osiris Torrance, that's a good pick for
We
them.
love taking linemen in the first round. So.
Buffalo kind of got gunned down because it's Jalen Hyatt.
It's actually Austin Eckler or Derrick Henry.
I think so. But right now, that's not the case.
Okay.
Huh.
They need a corner that's either going to be Xavier Howard or Jalen Ramsey. Receiver, I mean. I don't know if I said corner.
You said corner.
They need a receiver that's going to beat them too.
And I'm not seeing that. But you know what I am seeing here?
He might.
The pick's Darnell Washington. Yeah, they have Dawson Knox. Darnell Washington, and Cincy's pissed. Cincinnati's not happy.
Yeah.
But they need Brian Branch, but it's good he's not here.
What's Cincy going to do? Have they done anything at all?
They lost Jesse Bates and Samaje Perine.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
That is a really big deal. Their corners are just, whoa. Whoa.
I mean, Cam Taylor-Britt wasn't terrible.
They still got Eli Apple. Chidobe Wizier is okay. He's just hurt a good bit. Mike Hilton is the gadget guy.
Trey Flowers about 150.
They could still use offensive line help.
Yeah.
Cordell Volson is not the answer.
No.
Alex Kappa, Lyle Collins, just always hurt.
Yeah.
Tight end is their number one need. I'm not doing that here.
No.
They need a corner. I don't like any of that. Emmanuel Forbes, am I going to stretch on that?
I mean, Emmanuel Forbes. They
could use a running back.
The fact that Emmanuel Forbes weighs 167 pounds is kind of concerning to me.
But I mean, on an NFL roster, in theory. I don't like this.
No.
You got any ideas?
I mean, I guess just there's not really an offensive lineman here worth taking. I mean, Creed Humphrey was one of the best center prospects we've seen in a while, and he was a second round pick. Same with, I mean, Tyler Linderbaum. Was he a first round pick last year?
He might have been.
I think. I mean,
I could just take the best player available and Lucas Van Ness, and they can figure it out. Michael Mayer.
I don't know what I like here. This is a weird pick. I mean, you potentially may be having to move on from T. Higgins.
Trent Simpson?
Their linebackers are fine. I mean, they're good in the system for what they do. Yeah. This pick fucking sucks.
About his take best player available.
I don't blame you.
Move on with life.
Lucas Van Ness.
Their edge rushers aren't that good. Trey Hendrickson's okay. Sam Hubbard's okay.
New Orleans at 30. Bought Derek Carr in QB1. Bought back Michael Thomas. You have Chris Olave. I don't see the narrative that they desperately need a wide receiver. I don't see it.
They still have Juice Landry too, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of mid, but
I mean,
Tre'Quan Smith is still there.
You don't desperately need wide receiver like in New England.
Is it bad that they don't have a defense? It's just not there. Whenever would that go? There we go.
I mean, Honey Badger, Marcus May, Marshawn Lattimore, Paulson Adebo, Bradley Roby.
Secondaries, okay.
Murray
Davis
Warner,
hold it down.
Davis are solid.
They need help there.
Yeah, they do. Brian Bercier or Kalijah Cansey.
They need help there. As long as you.
I mean, if Lucas Van Ness is here, that just screams pick, just mid-edge for the Saints and just see what happens.
DeMarcus Davenport.
Yeah, Peyton Turner.
Yeah.
Who was a first-round pick, 2 years ago now? I'm going Brian Bercier. Brian Bercier's a guy who we've kind of seen fall. Some people say the tape wasn't there for him. He had some health issues, but I think that Brian Bercier in a New Orleans Saints defense that always seems to, for the most part, develop. They have Cam Jordan too, which should help, but I think Brian Bercier would be a good fit in New Orleans.
Next up, we got Philly. I feel like this might be kind of easy. Not sure how.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking the local guy. You just lost one. You know what I mean? Might as well bring in the local guy. I mean, they could take Emmanuel Forbes.
I mean, they love their Georgia defensive players, though. N'Kobe, Jordan Davis.
Rigo.
Just start building back that national championship defense.
Yeah, but their number one corner is a Mississippi State guy.
Yeah, but Forbes being 100 less than 170 worries me. Like it does. That's why I mean I was a big Forbes guy, but seeing that way it just draws me away. I'm not as big on Ringo as I was before, but I think that you have to go with the potential and the athleticism over Forbes, who's probably the better corner, but weighs a substantial less amount.
That's a Ringo.
And then Kansas City at 32.
Last pick. First pick in the second round. Actually, no, that don't even make sense.
This says round 1 pick 32 for me.
Yeah, but their pick was forfeited, so I don't know who the hell. I don't know how this thing got it. You know what I mean? There's only 31 picks in the first round this year.
Yeah, but this is saying 32.
I just closed out mine. That's great.
They did just cut Frank Clark. What's their depth chart looking like? They did just cut Frank Clark. They kind of made up for their O-line. Darian Kennard is starting right tackle for them right now.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
This, yeah.
Oh, I mean,
Orlando.
because if Orlando stays, Juwan Taylor slides to right and all is
They
right.
could probably move Trey Smith there if they need to.
Yeah. I mean, on the D line. I mean, as much as I want to go Jalen Hyatt here,
Let me see.
I mean, Juju, MVS, Mecole's gone, Juju's gone. They do need receiver. Tony and MVS. I mean, Jalen Hyatt and Kadarius Toney are like the same, though. I feel like.
No.
I feel like.
Hyatt's a deep threat, isn't he?
I mean, so is Tony. You watch his Florida tape, he's burning dudes. I feel like every
Not
big
in the
pass.
NFL. He hasn't been a deep threat at all in the NFL. I don't even know if that dude's caught a 20-yard pass in the NFL.
It's Kancey or Hyatt here. I feel like you have your big body receiver in MVS. Maybe Jahmyr Gibbs, but I can't see them double dipping after they got gunned down by the Clyde Edwards-Helaire pick. And
That's what I was about to punch you in the mouth.
So, to cap off this mock draft, I'm going to go ahead here and grab Kalijah Kancey. Help beef up that defensive line.
Give him Pat Mahomes, Aaron Donald.
Here goes the final outlook of the mock draft. Had a couple trades in there, and I'm going to leave off the mock draft by saying this. If your girlfriend's going to Florida for spring break, is it really your girlfriend? Check out all our other content. We'll see you guys next time.
See ya.
Peace.